En Palco.
I'm very pleased to meet you and thank you for being with us today.
Oh, it is
I
my
know
privilege.
you have passed through difficult times, so thank you again for being with us. For the people who doesn't know your story, please tell us a little about your story and your book, Pieces of Me.
Absolutely. Thank you. It is really the story, both Pieces of Me and the movie are about my 2-year struggle
Mhm.
to recover my kidnapped daughters who were just little bitty at the time. And they were taken as an act of retaliation because I'd left my abusive husband 4 years before. So at the time, I was a young adult. I was in my late 20s, made $10 an hour. It was a $100,000 problem. I certainly didn't have it, didn't have influence or family or anything that would help. But I did have a past that was also me as a kidnapped daughter. And I knew how important it was to really get my children back and give them the life they deserved. And a lot of my efforts were fueled by those old memories of what I never wanted for my children.
Considering you also suffer a kidnap when you were a child and you have passed through child abuse in 1994, I think,
Yes.
when you realize your daughters were not in your country and they were in Greece,
That's right.
what do you thought? What happened through your mind?
Well, at first, I mean, it was like the worst nightmare that you could imagine for yourself and of course for my children, but it was realized. It's like, this really did happen. This threat from the past, it happened. But on the other hand, it was sort of the rock bottom that helped me realize that, wait a minute, I will get them back home and we will not be dealing with this anymore. The 4 years prior to him taking the children and leaving the country, it wasn't a smooth 4 years. Those were scary, scary times of stalking, of telling the children menacing messages about me, that I would die, that I would go to hell, that I would leave them. Him breaking in, cutting my tires. I mean, anytime I did something good for the girls and I, like get a job, finish my degree, he would act even worse. And we were no longer married. And so it seemed never ending. And now it culminated into this. And so it really was in the first half hour, I thought this is the end of that story. This is the rock bottom. And when I get them home, we will be finished with that piece.
Yeah, it was truly a nightmare, really.
Yes, truly.
And when you ask for help to the White House, to Greece, and to the media, how was the reaction?
Well, the good news is this happened in Alaska. And I will say that maybe that's one of the best resiliency factors of the whole story was, especially before the internet, we were a place where people went, most people didn't have close family nearby. And so we're all orphaned up there in this scary, cold state together where we have to help each other out of ditches and away from bears. And, it was really rough back then. And so I was very fortunate. It's such a small town feeling that I knew a journalist. I, went to high school with the governor. All of those, it was like a big, small town. So that helped. I'd already known the journalist who kind of helped out. Then I worked with survivors of domestic violence. That completely helped also, because there was a woman on the board of directors who her father represented the president at the time, President of the United States. So it's just these weird little miracles. I was one of the unluckiest, but luckiest people in the world. It was like the worst circumstances, but so many good things layered on top of it that it really made all the difference. It did. And reaching out, that first call for support, even when those went badly, to just keep trying, try again, write it down, try the next person, it all did matter. Eventually I was able to go to Washington, D.C., but that wasn't just because I knew the board member. Somebody connected me with the woman who wrote Not Without My Daughter. And so her He had helped me get to a study, and I met other parents of abducted children. And, one baby step led to another.
Mm. And how the idea of making this book and then a movie was born?
Well, I always did like writing. So when I was a kid, I liked writing tragic poetry where I always died and people were sorry. So, I loved story. I do. And then I had a journalism degree. When, it's the facts as they came together. I remember one time when I didn't get my children back, the first time I went to Greece, and I ran into a man who said, he said, "Oh, you didn't get the girls?" I said, "No." And he said, "Well, you should be thankful. The book's going to be that much better." And it was a nice little reminder that, you just have to look at life sometimes, remember that it is kind of a story and it's not done. So it really helped to, eventually write a story that had positive takeaways, not just, oh, this is so tragic, but rather, here are the things that helped. Here are the people that helped. And it's incredible what we could all do with community and, with the willingness to roll up your sleeves and keep trying, even when every door is slammed in your face. It was a really exciting thing. When the book became a movie, all the better. It had broader reach. But I still have to this day a notebook paper that I had in like the 90s when the girls were first back. And I wrote a few takeaway things that if I ever wrote a book, I would want people to learn these 4 things. And I did, the book, when it finally finished 2 decades later, 20 years, it had what it needed to invite people into the story. And so for that, I am grateful.
Do you think this movie is stolen by their fathers? It's a reliable adaptation of your experience?
Yes, I absolutely do. There are things that and I was told in advance, which I so appreciated. There were certain things that had to be cut out because a movie has to be not, like 90 minutes with commercials, this, that, but you couldn't extend the whole thing, right? But it was wonderful. It was truthful. It was balanced, fair, and just lovely. And we couldn't, unfortunately, have every single character that the book had, because you just can't do that in a movie. You have to eliminate some characters and keep it moving, but I love it.
Sure. How was your relation with the actress Sarah Drew? You were
I
you were you were
never connected with her, sadly. Like, I never met her, never spoke with her.
Oh,
It's okay, thinking about the pandemic, like,
right.
Canada was very clear that they were following all mandates. Where I lived, not so much. So I wasn't able to go be on set and meet the people. I would have, but my daughters were able to connect with the little girls who were sisters that played my daughters. So they connected on social media and back and
Okay.
forth, would send each other messages. I love the job Sarah Drew did. I think she did fabulous. She certainly didn't need me for any input. And she mentioned that she had watched interviews that I had done, so she'd seen some video, but she did a great adaptation. I just think she was fabulous.
To finish, in the lifetime has made a lot of movies about violence to women. Probably I watch them all with my girlfriend. What do you think about their work, and what is importance to tell this kind of stories?
I love it. Good question. I think Lifetime has especially made some efforts to look toward resilience. And so it's wonderful that they provide an opportunity for people to share their stories. Yes, of crime victims, sure, or people who are going through really hard times, but it brings to light some issues that everyone can be invited to know about these issues. Also, they amplify stories of resilience and strength. And so it gives hope to people going through hard times. It's one thing, I still hear from people like almost daily at times, if not weekly, on my website, like, hey, I saw the movie, here's my situation. It clearly resonates. It tells people there is hope out there. and that, keep moving forward. Don't give up hope. Don't give up the fight. Get support. Don't be alone in whatever it is you're going through. And, it's part of your journey. And someday, and I work with coaching clients now, turning their challenges into superpowers. It's not something you got over or you got through. It's something you incorporated into your life for a functional future.
To finish, please invite people in Chile to watch Stolen by Their Fathers.
Oh, I would love that. Please, Chile, watch Stolen by Their Father. It is a wonderful movie and adaptation and a story of much hope and many amazing people who made the impossible possible.
Lizbeth Meredith, thank you again for talk with us. I wish you very, very luck.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful to speak with you, Francisco.